So just, it's coming up.
Good morning, everyone. It's April 13th, and this is a meeting of the Design Review Committee. This open meeting of the Design Review Committee is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, signed into law on March 29th, 2023. All members of the Design Review Committee are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. This act allows the Design Review Committee to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded, so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda, unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to the Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Dario DeMar,
Aye.
Lisa Maselli.
Aye.
Okay, and Dave Varon may join us late, but he's not on right now. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Lori Connors
Here.
and Bob Federico.
Here.
Thanks. The chair will invite each speaker or applicant on the agenda by name to make a presentation and speak to their application. Participants will provide their full name and hold until their name is called. Each speaker will be asked to mute their phone or computer when not speaking and to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate meeting minutes. Those responding will be asked to wait until the floor is yielded to them by the chair. Speakers who wish to respond to the comments of others do so through the chair, taking care to identify themselves. Each vote taken by the board or committee will be conducted by a roll call vote. It is now 8:36 a.m. and the first applicant on our agenda today is 343 Hudson Street. We had a brief summary at the last meeting. Since the last meeting, we've received comments and recommendations from the planning director and a lighting plan from the applicant. Which would you like to speak to first, and who from your group will be speaking?
Good morning. So this is George Pember, and I think Al Martin probably should take the lead on this and make the first presentation to you. So Al, can you do that, please?
I can see he unmuted, but I can't hear him. Al, are you speaking? Hello? Al?
Can't hear you, Al.
I'm calling him right now. Okay. Just talk to him. He's said his for some reason not working. He's gonna leave and come back. He was talking earlier and it was working. Just 1 second.
Okay. Do you know if he's going to talk to the lighting plan or the comments? Because I could pull the document up.
You talk about the plans and the light, I guess. He was working on that yesterday. I didn't talk to him late night yet, so I'm gonna find out now too. But he was
Okay.
working the light plan, and I know Devin is working on design for the landscape. The Devin group.
Oh,
Hello,
yeah. Hi, we can hear you now.
there you go. Good morning, all.
Hi.
Welcome
morning.
aboard, Al.
Thank you. So I will be presenting and talking strictly about the building. Any questions regarding the site work should be directed to Cornerstone. And any questions regarding the landscape design should be directed to David Veron.
I can pull up the landscape design.
Sure.
if you want. I mean, the building design.
Yeah, so I put a little guide to go through. It's not a PowerPoint, it's a Word document. I can share my screen.
Sure.
And then all the members, if they have the drawing in front of them, they can refer to the drawing. And then anything else that I missed that the members wants to talk about, then we can do that.
Sounds
Um,
good.
I'm going to request to share my screen. Let me know when you guys can see it.
I can see it.
I could see it.
All right. So the screen that you see, it's a Word document for 343 Hudson Street proposed duplex. This follows the design guidelines for two-family dwelling duplexes, and I tried to follow. So I tried to synchronize my Word document with the design guidelines so they may follow each other in order. So to start, I'm starting to from the roof. And the proposed building height is 32'6". Allowed is 35. So 32'6" is not going to be too high. And it will not compromise the abutting dwellings. Also, the roof pitches, they are 912, which is not too steep and it's not too shallow. It will not affect water storage, so water runoff won't be an issue. We're proposing to use either architectural or 3-tab roof shingles. And we do have a mix of gables and sheds, and possibly a cupola, if required by the board. Okay. So the design guidelines, they encourage enclosed porches with roofs. So this is what we did. We have a front cover entry porch that it's recessed backwards a little bit, so to reduce massing. So we recessed it about 6 feet. We are proposing metal roof on top of the covered porch. So it blends in. We have a mixture of roofs. So not everything is shingles. Okay. We do have a small decorative gable on top of the roof. The porch material again shall be AZEK, which is premium finish. This goes in line with the design guidelines. We are proposing 36-inch high railings over the deck porch. The deck porch shall be 108 inches, which is 9 feet. The porch columns with stone veneer and 1x6 AZEK porch decking. And I have some pictures here below of the proposed railings, the style of the proposed column, and the style of the proposed decking. So all of this is AZEK material, which is one of the top of the line in the market today. Does anyone have any questions regarding the porch and the roofs?
I do. Amy?
Yep, sure.
Okay,
If people have questions, they can just raise their hand and talk to the
Correct.
applicant if they.
all right. Donna, it's wonderful to be able to see all this stuff. Is the actual picture of the pillar that's on, what looks to be, stone mounted, base? Is
Right,
it?
it's stone veneer.
Yes.
And
And
we have a picture of the veneer below here. At some point, so here, the stone veneers, it should be light stone, flat shadow, gray stone on porch and gables. So I have a picture of it. I have a picture of it on the pillars. I have a picture of it under the porch, and I have a picture of it in the gable in the front of the building. So as I'm talking through this, I recommend that, as I can't open both PDFs at the same time, if you can have the, if you're able to look at the PDF of the building, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. But I tried to put them here as well to guide you exactly to where they are going to be used.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I was just double checking on the coloring on it. I like the look. This looks like it's all gray. The other one looks like it's a gray and
Yeah, the other one is the style of the pillar that we want, but I wasn't able to find it with the color that we wanted. But here below here, that's the stone veneer that we plan on using. So it blends in with the white trim.
yes. Okay, that's fine. It's just good to verify the difference. And then just because this is something I actually never looked into, but is 36 inches the standard height for rails at this point?
Minimum is 36. We can use 42 depending on the height. So we have our height here right now currently as designed is 32 inches from finished grade to top of finished deck. So 36 inches high railings should be acceptable. And the building inspector commissioner, Federico, is here. He can confirm that.
Mr. Martin is correct.
So it is the minimum height, but you can do the 48. Is that a 42?
Yeah, you could do higher, but Lisa, if you do higher, this is going to interfere with the window on the porch, and it's just not going to look nice.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm just a little concerned. You've got 4 bedrooms on both sides, which means you're going to have children, and it's a safety concern. But I'm just making a note of that. Then you can't redesign the whole thing. I can appreciate it.
You can definitely do 48, but 36 is accepted by code.
Yeah, I think 36, if we meet code, we're fine, and I think 36 looks better and it works better aesthetically.
Right, I agree with that. I'm just telling you my concern about the 4 bedroom, but go ahead. All right, I'm done.
Are there any other questions at this point? Or can I keep moving forward? Okay, so windows, bay windows, and front doors. All front facing windows shall have shutters. This is a recommendation from the design guidelines. All front face windows are double hung with exterior sills and lights. Double hung windows. All double windows are to be mauled together. And we do have a variation of bay windows on the sides with square PVC trim above and below the window casing. You can see a picture here below, and you can see it on the PDF submitted. And we do have an 80-inch front entry door with 12-inch transom above it and on the sides. This is also a recommendation on the design guidelines. There's a picture of the door that we tend to use. We may not be able to get the exact same lights pattern, but we will be able to get a single door with a side light and a transom above it. Again, we already discussed the stone veneer that we plan on using in the front facade of this dwelling. And then the siding, I also have the siding that we're proposed of using. This is a premium siding. It's deep ocean blue hardy plank, 5/16 inches by 6 1/4 siding. It's one of the most desired on the market right now. And we do plan on using some Arctic White hardy board and batten in their 6-inch wide siding on top of the gables to have a different mix of style and looks. This is also a recommendation from the design guidelines. All the trimming. So the trims that we are proposing on using on this house is 1x3 PVC or Centurion pine shadow boards. Plan on using 1x8 PVC fascia boards, 1x6 PVC freeze boards. You can see it on the gable here, a mix of the shadow fascia boards and the freeze boards. You can see the details up here. Not everyone, they do this. This is a premium custom design we are proposing on doing on this design. We are using 1x8 PVC corner boards on all corners. We can also see it here on this drawing, on this picture. And lastly, we want to use a 1x8 PVC or AZAC trim around all garage doors. So all the casing around the garage doors shall have premium trim. On the gables and eaves, we are planning on doing a 36-inch eave returns on all front gables. You can see in the picture here. This is also a premium trim style design. Okay, we are planning on doing 10 each eave overhangs on all eaves. We can also do 12 to make it bigger, but we like to do 10 or 12. And we're planning on using aluminum painted 4-inch white gutters. I know there will be some questions about the lighting, so I tried to address some of them here. I am hoping that Dave Veron can add to the lighting questions, but the exterior lighting shall be dark sky compliant. We will have some lights on the porch and outside in front of the garage, and they should be 20-inch high outdoor wall lights on the garage and porches. And the proposed intensity is 100 lumens. And along the driveway and walkways, we want to do 96-inch high path lights along the driveway and walkways, and they should be 12 feet apart, and the intensity for those should be 120 lumens. So landscape and gardening planning questions shall be directed to Dave Veron. And below is a picture of the two lighting, I guess we can call these casings that we want to use for the building and along the driveway and walkway. And this is all I have for details for the exterior of the building. And if there are any questions, happy to answer them.
Does anybody on design review have any questions? I'm all set. Oh,
Good.
Lisa,
I just have one more, my personal design eyes looking, having, I think, shutters on all the windows. When I'm looking at the A6 plan, would it look, I think it would look a little bit better if we took out the shutters to the smaller window space in between the two end pieces. So you have your end with the gable roof that has shutters on that piece. Then you go inward, and the next window that's there looks like you don't see as much wall space, obviously, because the shutters are taking most of
Okay,
it.
so you're talking about the one in between the two A's, Lisa?
Yeah, I think so. Like it
We
would,
can remove those.
if you're looking over the door, above the door. Yeah,
Correct.
that's just a suggestion.
We're happy to take that suggestion and remove those shutters. I'll make that note.
Thank you. And I guess the question, you haven't addressed it, maybe somewhere else, but the garage doors.
Yes. So the garage doors, there have been some issues getting them. They are 6 months out. So we haven't been able to find the exact garage door that we would like. The issue with that, Lisa, is, hey, we can order them because we have so much time, but we don't have a place to store them. We were hoping that we could submit a cut sheet of the ones we usually use and see if the board will approve after the meeting. But we are having problems with garage doors. So we didn't want to pick and commit to one of them. So we didn't want to get in trouble later.
Well, the design, the garage doors are a very integral part of it.
Correct.
So, and yes, the ones that are on here are certainly my favorites, but I would like to be able to have at least something that's equally decorative. And I understand that the supply houses have always been backing up the past 2 years. So I guess we'll see what you have.
And can we submit a cut sheet after our meeting? I want to discuss this with Bruno. At the end of the day, he's the one cutting the checks for these. I hate to pick one that's $10,000 and he end up firing me.
Well, we wouldn't want that.
Right.
Yeah, that, I guess that's up to you.
Now make that note. Provide.
And now I think as long as you guys meet the fundamental design intent, it doesn't have to be exactly the same. If it looks, I'll put it kind of in quotes, similar to what you have, that's fine.
Appreciate that. Thank you. So is there any other questions regarding the building design, the exterior building design? I think Cornerstone should take over with the site plans. I don't believe David is here yet.
Okay, you just want to, there we go. I'll share my screen, pull up the site plan. Okay. All right. So I don't know how much was shown last meeting with the site plans. But essentially, I can just kind of run through existing conditions. This site work has been done on the site since a couple of years ago when plans were previously submitted. So the existing structure still in the middle. We had some paved driveways, gravel driveways around that. The existing garage and shed buildings, those have already been removed. So that's why they're not shown on the plans currently. And then as we move towards the site plan up here, I'm sure you've probably already seen this, but the building would get repositioned where access used to be off Hudson, and now access would be pulled up to Solomon Pond Road, essentially to enhance the site distance on that corner. We tried to get the driveway as far as possible away from that intersection. So now we're able to get greater than 200 feet of site distance in both directions from that driveway intersection. Previously, that driveway entrance as it sits now does not have that distance of site distance. So that's the reason for putting the driveway where it is up on Solomon Pond. And all utilities are available out in Solomon Pond. We have sewer, water, gas. All of those we brought out underground to Solomon Pond Road, one per unit. So a separate gas, water, and sewer for each side. And they would also bring in underground electric, data, telephone. We did not show that on the plan. That was one of Lori's comments, so we'll add that to the plan. As far as stormwater goes, it's fairly straightforward. We're going to collect the roof water and the driveway and send it to a subsurface infiltration system. We still need to add a couple of details basically on how that gets collected. Right now we had it graded towards an inlet, but I'd like to add a few more details just to define that. I think that's some of Lori's comments that we do have to add some more of those details on the plans. But essentially that's the design right now, is to collect basically all the driveway and roof and infiltrate that, and that will mitigate your any potential increase in flow and volume of runoff off the site, and also add to the groundwater recharge in the overlay district. I think that really is a very brief summary. I know we have comments from Lori. They look pretty straightforward. Nothing that I don't think can't be worked out. I don't know if you want to go through them or not. I think it was mostly some coordination items and then some final details that we need to add on there. But nothing that I see that would change anything, substantial on the plan. And we could go through any of those if you have specific questions. That's all I had.
Thank you. Just looking quickly at Lori's memo. Is there anything, Lori, you wanted to add? Any more questions for him?
Well, the one thing that I was particularly concerned about, and it wasn't clear from the site plan, is the distance from the edge of the driveway to the fire hydrant. It looked like it was going to be, oh, okay, 4 feet.
Yeah, we just added, we added that. This is an updated plan. So we did add it. It's 4 feet right now. We have a little bit of space if we want to get that more. We could push the driveway closer towards the abutter a little, but we're already at 5 feet to the abutter, which I think is about where you want to be. I don't think you want to get much closer. So we have 4 feet to the hydrant right now. If that's a issue, I think that's about as max as we could get. It could be moved. It could be moved over. We don't really want to adjust the driveway too much further down towards the intersection. We're trying to get as much separation as we can from the intersection. So that's why we want to push it up in this area. But there is potential if we do need be, we could move that hydrant. Just it's a additional cost. That's all.
I wonder if maybe it would benefit from putting some sort of curb or something to protect that hydrant, because I'm just concerned in the winter time, in a significant storm event.
We could add some curbing. We could add curbing down in this area. It wouldn't hurt. It might look nice when add some curbing or add some other type of protection between the driveway and the hydrant.
Probably be better for the cars too. I actually backed into one once close to a driveway. It did more damage to my car than the hydrant.
Yeah.
That was before backup cameras. I quickly wanted to look at the side of the house because as we can see, one side of the house will be showing on the curve of the street. I have it on my.
Oh, I can stop this share one. Okay.
Do you want me to share the design, or does somebody want to share the design?
I don't know if Al, if you have that ready, or if maybe, I don't know if the board has that.
I actually have it right here.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. So this would be what you would see from one side, and this is from the other side.
Yep.
I do actually have a question. Is that the chimney that is showing on the side view?
Al, you on? I'm assuming it is, but I can't.
Hello, can you guys hear me again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's not a chimney, that's a gas fireplace.
Okay.
On both sides. So
Yeah.
that's just a hot air vent, the black thing that you see.
And it looks pretty high. Usually they're high up off the ground so it doesn't get blocked by snow. But
Correct, it's
that
pretty
looks
high.
Yeah.
I think you guys did a good job, actually.
Yeah, I think
Thank you,
it's.
Dario.
For, you know, what it's worth, it looks like it's well thought out.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I agree.
And there's a little subtlety just for the rest of the members on the board that it costs money, but it really helps. Just pushing one of the garages a little bit forward really helps break up that elevation. So it wasn't just done with molding, it's actually, you know, a foot deeper, but it just helps bring it down to a human scale. And I think that's the kind of stuff that doesn't have to cost a fortune, but it can really make it look better.
Correct. I agree.
Okay. The only thing I took out of, one of the things I took out of Lori's letters was a grassy strip through the driveway, just to, break up the expanse of driveway. I'm not.
Yeah, I was
hard.
looking at that and just because of the way the cars turn, it may not
Oh,
function
yeah.
the best. To make it so you could get around that island, we actually have to make the driveway bigger.
Yep.
So by adding the grass strip, you might actually increase impervious, which is odd, but just because of that turning movement when you back out and you want to pull forward, you might
Yep.
drive over the grass strip. So we could put a little one, it would be pretty small and short. But then that, you know, maybe you'd fit a shrub or something in there, but I don't know if that's something that the board would still be looking for.
Hey, Vito, can you grab the site plan real quick?
Sure.
It's interesting you said that because
There we go. Yeah, so you could have a small something here, but you know, when you back up here, you pull out, wouldn't want something sticking way out too far.
right,
You could have
so
something
the-
small.
Yeah, so the question would be, this is just for me. You have the other backup area.
Mhm.
Is that meant for parking or for backing up or both?
It could be both. It's more for backing up, but then this one, backing up out of this, you'd probably go this way.
That was my whole point.
Yeah.
If we shorten that, you will get a lot more green than putting the more, what I would call obstructive green space in between them, even though it breaks up all the asphalt, it really doesn't function well. I get that. I was looking at it, but if our goal was to remove impervious, that backup space there, you bring that in 6 or 8 feet, it still gives you a little cushion, but if I'm backing out of unit A, I'm gonna back out to the right
Mhm.
and head out. And I think that may solve all the problems and still make it more functional, if you will, because even plowing it or shoveling it is tough when you put a little bit of grass in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets beat up and run over time.
But
Yeah,
but it's, and I think if it pulled straight out into the street.
yeah,
then
that's
that-
when it works good.
Yes, that
Yeah.
island would be perfect, exactly, and I'm just looking at it more functional, but I appreciate whoever's comment it was saying, hey, can we make it a little greener?
Mhm.
But I do believe if I'm living in unit A, I'm gonna back up to the right as loud as, this duplex, they're sharing the drive, so it's not like it's my drive, don't back into it kind of a thing.
Yep.
Anyway, that's, I think, it's just a suggestion that it actually would save money and work better.
Although I have to admit, if I know I have a 2-car driveway and my tenant is in one of the bays, it's hard for me to turn sometimes because his vehicle's in the way. How much space do you have for the
Yeah.
B to turn into B?
Right. If there's a car sitting in front of this bay, this just it gives that little, it's like a extra buffer in case you need it. And it
Yep.
gives a spot where someone could park in there if they do need it. That's all. It was really, if no one's parked out front, yeah, you'd back out. That seems to be the primary way you do it every day. But then there'd be some instances where a car might be parked in front of unit B or something like that. It just gave a little extra buffer, that's all. A little
Yeah.
extra space.
And I think too, if it's a 4-bedroom and you have guests or you have more than 2 cars, you might want that additional parking space because you certainly can't park on that street.
Mhm.
You do overlook, I suppose, but.
When you guys designed this, did you ever try it with the garage doors separate on the ends and the front doors in the middle? Like, we've had a couple designs that come in with the doors, the garage doors together in the middle. And that's what seems to create the big expanse of the driveway, 50 feet wide. But then they've changed it up and put the garage doors on the left and the right and the entry doors together in the middle. And there's one on 399 Hudson Street. They changed it and did that. And then they had a circular driveway.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys tried that. So then I don't know if it makes it for a bigger expanse or a smaller expansive driveway. If the doors.
It's more paving for sure.
Yeah, it
Hmm?
might be more pavement, but broken up more. So you know what I mean? It'll probably be in the end more pavement itself, but it might be dispersed a little bit more, so it broken up.
Yeah.
So no, we did not look at that. How that would look.
I know when they did it, it made a big difference when. we
May
looked
I
at the
jump
building.
in? Sorry about that. So if we are to, I designed another duplex, it was for Bruno as well, and we had the entry in the middle and the garage is separate. But if we are to do something like this whole design is thrown away. We will be stuck redoing the whole interior and the whole second floor. So we would basically be starting, we would be going to the back of the line. And Dario, as an architect, I think he can vouch for that. We're looking at a totally new design and we're going to be starting all over again.
Yeah, I don't think it's certainly fair at this point. 2 garages next to each other isn't the end of the world. And I think spreading it out too, you get real close to the property line on the left-hand side. And now that gets a little awkward, but you have to pave more if you spread them out. You could get a little green in the middle, but the green in the middle would be mostly consumed with walkways to get to the porches.
Yeah.
It just.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw it out there.
Yeah, this
Not
was a
meaning
tough
that he
one.
had to do it.
Yeah, this would, yes, and I think when you can, it looks nice. They look like they did the least amount of paving they could do here. And I think Lisa's point, if they want more parking, that's why I asked the question. If that's for parking, you can certainly put a couple cars there and they can put a couple cars in the other turnaround as well.
Mhm.
And everybody stays out of everybody's way.
And especially if you have somebody who's coming to do some work on the house too.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any more questions or comments?
I'm good.
I'm fine, thanks.
Back with the design and to talk about the lighting design. He hasn't connected yet. Okay, so you guys okay with coming back when we have Dave here? And when you have Dave here? Okay. So let me look up the date. It'll be May 11th. Is our next design review meeting.
And-
Is that
Amy,
fine?
Is that just simply to look at the landscaping aspect and everything else is satisfactory to the board here?
In my opinion, yes. How did the other board members feel?
Yes, I'm happy with it.
I'm fine.
And answering any of Lori's questions that are still outstanding, if any.
Okay, that's excellent. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll see you guys back on May 11th?
Yeah, 8:30 again, please.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, thanks.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you on May.
Thanks. Okay, so next on our agenda, we have 300 Bartlett Street, which is FedEx.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. My name is Peter Ellison. I'm a civil engineer with TEC. So I will share my screen. let me know if you all can see this.
Yes.
Okay, great. So the location of the property is 300 Bartlett Street. This is the existing FedEx trucking terminal. The purpose of the project is that they're planning an expansion to the existing building. And then as an accessory use, they are proposing to install a shop building that is 10,780 square feet. And that is the building that I am here to present to you all and get your feedback on. The location of that shop building is here on the site plan. I can also bring it up on an aerial because it is a little bit easier to tell. So here's Bartlett Street to the north. This is the existing building here for FedEx. The shop building is proposed right here in this concrete slab area. Again, the purpose of this building is for FedEx to be able to essentially work on and maintain their fleet of vehicles on site. So this is not something that would be open to the public. It would be kind of an accessory use to FedEx only. I have some spec drawings that were put together by FedEx. These are the elevations of the building. So kind of in keeping with the nature and style of the existing FedEx, trucking terminal. This is going to be a metal building. The square footage is 10,780 square feet. The exterior materials is kind of metal standing seam. I actually have a picture. So this is a picture from the west side of the building. The front of the FedEx building is a concrete building. That's kind of what you would see from Bartlett Street, but the back section of the trucking terminal is the same kind of metal building with standing seams running up the side. As you can see, this definitely looks like a maintenance shop. There's overhead doors that will be, on the east and west side of the building so that they can easily pull in and out with vans, trucks, tractors, full size, everything that they have over there in their fleet. I have a floor plan here that kind of shows the layout. It looks like there's 3 bays for them to be working on, a small break room, bathrooms over to the south side of the building. And then they have lube equipment that they use to kind of change oil, do oil change, and then a wash area for their fleet as well as part of the building. And I do have a figure because I understand part of the focus of your review is kind of what is this building going to look like from Bartlett Street or from the public way. This is a picture we took last week looking up towards the site. So as you can see, the FedEx site is up. You turn into this driveway and take a right to get up into FedEx. There's quite a bit of topography to get up to the FedEx pad. What I'm pointing to here with this arrow is the top of the existing canopy that's above the fuel pumps at the site. So as you can see from Bartlett Street, you can kind of pick up the top of that canopy, which is about 19 feet tall. The location of that shop building is proposed behind that canopy by about 20 feet. So my opinion, we don't have any full renderings done, but my opinion is because you can't really see the back side of that canopy, it kind of gets cut off by the topography of this slope. I really don't think you're going to be able to see much of this building from Bartlett Street at all. It's kind of tucked back away from the street and behind this canopy here. So with that short presentation, I would turn it back over to the board or the committee and look to get any feedback.
Okay. Does anybody on the committee have any questions? Actually, I have one quick question. On
Sure.
the site plan, I noticed it also says 21 trucking bays. Are there
Yes.
another 21 trucking bays being added?
Yeah, so the overall project will require a special permit and a site plan review with the zoning board. So we actually are intending to file that next week on the 18th for the May meeting. But I understand from my coordination with Lori and Bob Federico that this part of the building back here, because it's an addition to the existing building, it actually it's not something that I guess goes through the design review process because it's
Okay,
yeah.
I just wanted to ask, and it's, so it's an addition on the back of the existing building to add
Correct.
the 21
Yep.
bays, building being added. There's a maintenance building and then there's the 21 bays being added.
Correct. Yeah, there's 21 bays here to the south side of the existing building, and then a 1,000 square foot break room for the employees that's being added as an addition.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions in building and design? I do think when you showed the front view, there should be some arborvitaes and maybe trees. See on the hill, because you can see the fencing and the truck site. I don't know. I would add some more of a landscape buffer there.
I agree with that, Amy.
Okay,
I got
yeah.
a question. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we would be happy to take a look at that and see if it's feasible. It does look like the break and slope is pretty close to the fence line, so but certainly we'll take a look at that. That's definitely a request we can look at.
So the
Lori,
fuel canopy was 18 feet tall, is that what you said?
I'm sorry, did you say the canopy?
Yeah, the fuel canopy that we're looking at here.
Yep, the canopy here is 19 feet tall to the top of it.
And then how tall is the building that we're building behind it?
So the new shop building, the frame height is 20 feet and the roof is substantially flat. It's a 1/4 inch per foot slope. So the peak of this would be about 21 feet. And there are a couple condensers on there that probably be about 2 or 3 feet tall. So the peak height of those are probably around elevation 24, I would guess. 24 feet.
Yeah, they're probably a little higher, but that's okay, because they're on a curb. But-
Yeah.
So I have two just questions and or concerns. You guys are really up high, as you showed in your picture up front, because which keeps the building right. It looks like it's probably the highest point, if I'm not mistaken, on Bartlett. I don't know if, but either way, it's nice because you don't see the building from here, but in this photo, I think you can see the big tall lights you have?
Yes.
It would be great if somehow those could be shielded because they reflect wonderfully off Bartlett Pond for all the neighbors to see and all the houses. And this would be an opportunity to maybe help those not be seen from the residential neighborhoods.
Okay.
You know, and it's something, again, and you would understand it because you got this beautiful pond and then you look over the trees and you see these huge, like you and the neighbors, but and I'm being honest, it's kind of an opportunity for us to solve that problem. Because I think that is a big deal. And I'm sure FedEx doesn't want that either, but that I don't live there, but I did walk down, it's on Ridge Street. If you look at the pond from there and you look in the distance, these lights are so high, and because they're so high on the hill,
Yeah.
you can actually, if you zoom out, keep zooming out, you'll see the pond right there on the left. Exactly. And those neighbors, those people that live in that area on the pond and across from Ridge, you look across and you see the bright lights. Just because it's so high in elevation and the lights are so high. That's exact, yes. And you guys might not be aware of that because how would you know, right?
Right. Yeah, no, I know. It's 3,000 feet away.
Right. But they're bright lights and you go out there tonight and drive by and you will see them. Anyway, it would be a big, to me, it's a big deal for the town and those neighbors.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any problem with trying to retrofit those existing lights. I'm glad you brought it up, because the project really is not going to touch the lighting system other than, getting your feedback here. We obviously weren't aware that reflection was happening. So
I don't think anybody was, Peter, and that's why I think this is one of those things where we put it up. You're so far away. I probably would not have thought about it. So, I'm an architect. I do this stuff for a living. I do a lot of site planning, but all of a sudden people are like, what is that in the background? And it was hard for us to figure out what it was.
Yeah.
But it had to do with how high you were. You're like on the top of the mountain, and then you got 25-foot lights.
Yep.
And what's it take? It takes a 3-foot shield. It's not like you're going to spend $500,000 to fix it, but it would be a big deal so that when someone's trying to enjoy the pond, they don't have the lights in their eyes.
Yep. Certainly.
So I have,
You guys also have right turn only out of here, right?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I know, the majority of the traffic is likely going back to the highway, so heading that direction.
Right.
But again, the first thing that Lori brought up when I brought this project in was, you better be ready to talk about traffic when we get to the zoning board. So we're in the middle of preparing a detailed traffic study that will be able to get into all of that as part of our site plan review and approval.
And I think that you guys have been, good neighbors. It's just some of the stuff you wouldn't be aware of, unless you lived here. And I think the right turn is a big deal. And primarily because there's a school if you turn left.
Yep.
And you got the highway, and if you want to get to Route 20, if you make a right turn in a 1/10 of a mile, you can make a left down an industrial street that takes you to 20 and not pass by all the neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
So that it seems like, and anything we can do to reinforce the right turn only for exiting, because you're going to be able to enter. If you come down Lyman, you got to be able to come in. If you're coming down from the east, you got to be able to get in. So those are big rounded curves, but maybe the left exit curve is more squared off in addition to the sign to make it really tough to make a left turn out of there, because there really would be no reason to when you have another road. It's a 1/10 of a mile down on the right.
Yep.
Yeah, right there. You see Hayes Memorial?
Hayes Memorial. Yeah.
It's so easy to get there to get to 20 versus cutting through the residential neighborhood. That's the big concern.
So
you sharpen that inside corner, that median, to make it hard to turn left.
Yep.
On exit only, entering, you can't hurt your business by saying you can't enter from the other side, because people will come down Lyman. They'll hang right on Lyman and a right in here. So that's got to be a rounded. This is just me. I don't want to be unrealistic on what would work, but where you have the two arrows turning left, if that median goes straight, almost like 90 degrees, because then the tractor trailers won't want to bounce over it. I believe you actually have a sign across the street that says no left.
Okay.
So it's not like you guys weren't doing it, and you guys have been very cooperative. So, but hopefully it's not, I don't live near here, but it's not like a NIMBY thing. It's just being fundamentally considerate. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, but now what about employees that live in Northborough?
I think cars are fine, because the cars can negotiate the sharper corner.
Yep. So it would be really a truck restriction.
Yes.
All truck traffic take a right turn only off onto Bartlett.
Right. And it's not the end of the world if they had to go down Hayes Memorial. But again, I don't try to overreach. I just try to do what I believe in my heart is fundamentally best for everybody.
Yep.
So I think you saying, can cars turn left? I think that's fine, but signs don't work. Because there was a neighbor that put a camera up there, and the camera, half the people went left, half the people went right. The sign was completely ignored.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can tell you that we were on site, not last week, but the week before, taking traffic counts, and we looked at this intersection here with Bartlett, and then this interior intersection that's split between FedEx and Amazon. So we'll be able to tell you exactly what percentage of vehicles are turning left onto Bartlett and what percentage of that is truck traffic versus passenger cars and employees. So we'll be able to describe all of that in our traffic study, and yeah, I think that's valuable feedback to know that, you know, it might ease a little bit on everybody in town, especially at the school, if all the trucks are forced to turn right onto Bartlett here.
Right, and you can see how hard is that to get to Route 20. You might add, 30 seconds to the drive. It's not like they have to go all around town. And I could see if you had to go 8 miles to the right to get there, that's kind of an unfair ask. But that Hayes Memorial has all trucks on it all the time. There's a light at the end. There's an easy left that you can make and an easy right that you can make. And it just helps that neighborhood by the school. Because that's our high school, and you got kids coming in and out, and they're rookie drivers, and all they got to do is get hit by a truck sometime, and then FedEx will be all over the internet.
Yep. Nobody
Anyway,
wants that.
that was the only other thing, because we do talk about driveways and stuff, even with the little houses, but this one to me is a bigger deal. And I don't know if it's all under design review committee purview or not, but it's a heads up. And I never realized the lights bouncing off of Bartlett Pond came from you guys and A. Dewey Pyle. And if A. Dewey Pyle knew it when they put that there, they would have shielded it as well.
Right.
Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you understanding.
Thank you.
I think the bumper or whatever forced the trucks right would be important too, because the GPSs sometimes tell the trucks to go left. So it'd be great if, I know some companies can program their GPSs to make sure they don't go by the school, but if you get contracting trucks in, and I don't know if FedEx has that programming software, they can keep the trucks from turning left. So it'd be great to have some sort of, what Dario was talking about, something in the driveway to force the trucks to go right.
Okay. Understood.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to what capability they have right now, but I can certainly ask the question and hopefully be well prepared and ready to speak on it when we do get in front of the zoning board in about a month. Or
And there's members here who are on the zoning boards.
Okay, so there you go. So this is a pretty good preview of what's gonna come up during the meeting then.
Right, and if you sharpen the corner, you put 3 bollards there, you're done. The cars can make it. The trucks really have to work really hard to make that left. And anyway, thank you very much. That's all. That's all I'll say.
Yes, Lisa?
I have just a couple of questions, and I totally agree with Dario, and this is a great suggestion. The building that we're looking at, what is it, the repair building, so to speak?
Yes.
That, is that going to take, a vehicle's going to come here as like a service facility and not necessarily, bringing things in and out of this facility? Or is this just taking care of the vehicles that come in and out of this facility for their normal work?
Correct. Yeah. So this is purely an accessory use for FedEx's fleet. So it's only for vehicles that are going to be coming in and out of this terminal.
And then I'll let the other 2 boards take care of whatever's going to be with the additions. But being on design review, I just had to ask. The FedEx sign has been broken for a while now. As you enter the building or enter the property.
Okay.
Probably not on your list of things, but could you ask the question of when is that face going to be replaced? Because I think it's gotten worse with the winds that we've had.
Is it this one that's kind of over to the right but cut off? It's like a short pylon.
It's in the picture that you're showing.
Yep.
It's where the little cursor is. You can see
Yep.
on the north side, that whole face now is missing and it's just bulbs.
All right. Well. Yeah, that is not something that's called out to be repaired on the spec plan that FedEx sent over, but I'm sure that, you know, it's a reasonable request, I think, as part of the site plan review to try and maintain that. So I will, I'll certainly bring it up with my client.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
I just have a question for Lori. I'm sure Fred will review these designs. And I think I looked quickly, it's not on a groundwater zone. But will there be, and this is probably a question for Fred and zoning, but I was considering, will there be like a tight tank or some sort of protection where they're doing lube and wash areas up there on the hill? Because they're on the hill, and if water and chemicals flow out, they probably flow down the hill.
Right.
Defer
I
to
did-
Bob. He, I know, has the answer to that question.
Oh, okay,
All garages that have vehicles in it are required to have a floor drain that goes into either a tight tank or an oil water separator that prevents toxics and poisons and oils and greases from getting into the groundwater. That comes under the plumbing code and the sanitary code. So anytime you have a garage on a commercial basis that can fit a registered vehicle, it's a requirement.
okay. So does this one right now, Peter, show a tight tank?
It doesn't, because these are interior building layouts. There's a little bit of a crossover there where Bob's absolutely right. It's going to be required by the plumbing code to put an oil water separator in, but a lot of times you want to put that structure outside of the building so that it's easily accessible to be cleaned, pumped out if needed, and then that structure will get tied into the sewer on site. So yes, that is all part of our plan. It's not shown here because I'm not showing you the site plans right now, but that will be on TEC's site plans for the project.
Okay.
And we assume that it's going to blend into whatever it is you have for your building structures.
Do you mean the tank itself?
Yeah, whatever may show. I mean,
Yep. So that sewer, that oil water separator and the tank and all that equipment is underground. So all you'll see is a rim, you know, a cast iron rim, like a manhole cover at grade.
Okay.
And you said it ties into the sewer, it doesn't leak into the ground. You don't have oil water separator and then the water leaching down?
Yeah, so that system is totally separate from from our stormwater system, for example. Because like Bob said, the purpose of those floor drains is to catch, you know, if there was a spill of any oil or anything like that inside the building, we want to catch that, capture it in the oil tank, in the oil water separator. Anything that comes out of that system needs to go into the sewer and be treated so that it's not directed to the stormwater system and put back into the groundwater. We want to make sure that's all separate.
Definitely.
Yep.
That's what I was getting at. Okay. Those are all the questions, unless anyone has any more.
I'm good.
So,
Good job, Peter.
so I was thinking, if this is the only meeting with FedEx in front of us, and we're gonna write up a memo to go to the special permit granting authority. Unless, or do we want them to come back with the landscaping plan
Yeah, I
Some-
think come back with a plan.
in front of the fence?
Yes.
Because you're not gonna go in front of the special permit granting until May anyways, so we would have a meeting before that. When are you planning on going in front of?
I believe the deadline to file is April 18th for the May 23rd.
Okay, so if you go May 23rd, we have a meeting on May 11th. You could make that one with the landscaping plan.
Okay. And just so that I understand exactly what your request is it would really be like a row of arborvitae or some kind of screening that at the top of this hill here, so that
Right,
the kind of operations up here would be kind of screened from Bartlett.
right. Yep.
Okay.
In our bylaws too, I think Lori or Bob, they call for the arborvitae to be 6 feet, right? 2-inch caliber, 6 feet.
Yeah, typically for something like an arborvitae, it would be 6 feet. If it was going to be some sort of tree, like I don't know, a fir tree or something like that, then it would be a 2-inch caliper.
Okay.
And the good news here, you guys, is looking at this, it looks like it only has to be 4 or 5 feet because of the angle. I mean, we can, 6 is great, but because we're looking up at it, it doesn't take a whole lot to screen that. You don't need 20 feet because if that whole fence was solid, you wouldn't see anything.
Right,
So it's kind of nice. I mean, it makes it a little easier on Peter that he doesn't have to put 30-foot anything's that's 6 to 8 feet tall when it's mature is pretty much going to block everything because of our sight line and how high up that is. Just imagine that fence if it was solid.
right.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing that we put something there, but it's also nice that it's hopefully there's enough dirt to put it there. That would be the only concern, but the good news is it won't take much to screen it. You could get tall bushes in this particular situation that would work.
Would it be better to ask for a solid fence versus the?
I would let them do whatever they can do just to try to solve the problem and we don't become the designers. I mean, they understand the intent, but at least, and I'm just pointing it out to you guys, just sometimes our codes are written for certain reasons. This is a situation where the height won't be as important as just getting something there, and then let them be creative on what makes the most sense versus us dictating. I don't really like to say what to put. I think if you tell the intent, they're smart enough where they can say, yeah, we can do this. This will be great, and we're fortunate in this case that it doesn't have to be 20 foot tall.
Right. I think originally anything around a truck bay was supposed to be a solid fence and not chain link. So I'm not sure why this went in as chain link, but maybe because it's more parking in front than the truck bay.
That I don't know.
Right. I'd have to go back to and look.
And the other thing too about, plantings, which we love because we need to get the environment a little happier, is the perpetuity, my favorite word in this design review. So whatever goes there has to be able to withstand the seasons and survive and not just die off.
Understood.
Okay. So for the May 11th, I have landscaping. I'd also like to, when we write a memo, include the shielded lighting on the parking lot, right turn only, and include the bumper and the driveway if we can, and fix the sign.
Okay.
Did I miss anything?
I have a question for you all. Procedurally, is this are you writing an advisory memo to the zoning board in this case?
Yes.
Okay. Understood.
And they'll pick up things on their own, but we just write an advisory memo that with the site plan that we reviewed.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay. Oh, I actually think one other condition that should be in the memo is that the maintenance building should only be for vehicles that go to that facility. Something along those wordings, so it's not a maintenance facility like Lisa was mentioning for all FedEx trucks, but for the FedEx trucks that actually are frequently visiting this facility.
Okay.
Maybe we'll put that in a separate place on the letter because it really has nothing to do with the design. It's more of a site plan
Right.
issue. So
Yes.
I could put it as kind of, yes, we recognize that this isn't design review jurisdiction, but we want to make these couple of additional comments.
Right. I'll actually be on the site plan review with the planning board, but it's good to,
It doesn't actually go to planning board, it's only ZBA.
oh, but we do a technical review, right? Of anything that goes to the ZBA.
And the good news is Lori's on all these things, so.
I know, but that's why I'm just,
Yeah, it stops you from having to do it 9 times. If everybody's got a heads up, it just goes forward. But I think because our procedures, hopefully we'll be able to streamline them a little bit. But I think it's good that there's different people on different committees because Lori's good at putting it in the slot where it belongs. And then at least it gets recognized. So that's good. So it's quote unquote none of our business, but we notice it and then, you know, Amy's not going to just all of a sudden just forget about it when she sits on the planning board, and neither will Lori when she sits with the ZBA.
I could in a month, which is good, which is why it's good to have it written on our list.
Okay. All right. But anyway, but that's
But
good.
yeah, but thanks. I just wanted to round up what we talked about as a board to
Well,
make
that's
sure we.
good. And I think that makes it easier on Peter too, as well.
Right. Okay,
All right, thank you all. I will see you again on May 11th with and all these requests.
okay, sounds great.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Peter.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we're actually gonna make the 10 o'clock, I think, and get our minutes in. We had one set of minutes, the agenda mentioned 2, but we only had the March 9th. And,
I actually got comments from Lisa, but I didn't have the opportunity to review them. So Lisa, maybe you can speak to your changes that you wanted to make.
Okay, I sent it, I think I sent it to everybody on the email. So let me, it wasn't a lot. It was just, I typed it in actually on the draft. Do you see the draft?
let me see if I can share it.
Draft has the yellow and then it's got the little squares next to it. So I didn't actually put it into the body of the,
I'm gonna open it and see if I can share it. Oh, it's opening as a pages document. I don't know if I have.
Yeah, I couldn't open it when I got it.
because I
I have it, so let me see if I can share my screen. So just bear with me a minute.
didn't print it.
Is it because it's an Apple, Lisa?
It could be. I just opened it up in Pages, but it was in a Word document because I am an app. There you go.
Okay, so you guys can see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Squares are the notes that say where it was in the transcript.
So it says,
You're not seeing the yellow?
The yellow boxes to the, yeah, I can see it in yellow.
I see it.
And I just added back that little bit of information because when it jumped from my sentence to Bob's sentence, there didn't have, it wasn't an understood conversation. So I think it's important to let anybody in the future who can't or who wasn't there, who don't necessarily know the whole discussion, to get a little bit more.
I would suggest changing the special permit granting authority to just say condition added to the decision to keep the plantings maintained in perpetuity.
Well, yeah, you could. I mean, decision isn't, then we get back to us voting on it, right? So maybe the recommendation or the advisory memo.
Okay, so that's what you meant.
okay, so the condition added to the advisory memo to the special permit granting authority. That sounds good.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be a comment or condition, just make it a condition. Condition's stronger than comment.
Right, because it wasn't under the ones that were there, the enclosure of the dumpsters. So I just wanted to have it as a standalone. On the second page, so under talks, consideration of a substitute of goldenrod to bone set, blah, blah, blah. And then under that, another dot in perpetuity.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Did you have any changes, Dario?
If we want to put the sidewalk thing was a little bit vague. I think if we scroll down, there was, the parking lane is very clear. We have guidelines and we have codes that say a driveway has to be so wide. And I think we should adhere to that. We have setbacks, we should adhere to that. This isn't something that really needs to be done. There's a lot of things here that are kind of sort of broken and we would have to be giving a lot of waivers or variances, but I don't know where we are with the sidewalks, but I believe if you have a sidewalk, it has to be, I'm gonna say 5 feet wide, if it's a public sidewalk minimum. And with the trucks or the cars overhanging it, it makes it 3 feet wide. And most towns, and I don't know that we have that, most towns will say if you have cars parking perpendicular to the sidewalk, you have to add 2 feet to the sidewalk dimensions so that clear distance is maintained. And I think what they agreed to do was put in tire stops, which also accommodates, it allows for the cars to pull in and not overhang. So there's 2 ways to solve that problem: widen the sidewalk or put in the tire stops. Because imagine walking there trying to get in the building and then you can't, which is, yeah,
Right.
somewhere I said, yeah, floor plans. It was kind of vague, but I noted the floor plans don't match the site, but yeah, that's different. Where was it?
There's language in there, that first bullet, a request for sidewalk bumpers to be added to the first 3 parking spaces along the sidewalk. That was because of the overhang.
Right, I think that's good, Lori. It could be as simple as must maintain 5 feet or code required sidewalk distance by bumpers or widening the sidewalk. But I think that gets to the point. Because there's a lot of ways to twist that.
Maybe Mr. DeMar questioned the width of the driveway, the sidewalk, and travel lanes.
Yeah. They just don't have enough space to do it, quote unquote, according to the codes, which is a big deal.
Right. So I added sidewalk there. Should I add a sentence here that there just wasn't enough room? Or Mr. Federico Bach?
Just say, goal is to maintain 5 foot clear walk at all time. Then they can solve that problem. Again, I don't like to tell them how to do it, but I think it's good just to tell them what you really need.
Right.
That's it. That I think is that says.
So I can send this to you, Lori, or you might have it.
I've already been taking my own,
Right.
notes, so I should be all set.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So do I have a motion to approve the March 9th minutes as amended?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call vote, Lisa Maselli
Aye.
and Dario DeMar.
Yes, aye.
I'm an aye. So the minutes are approved as amended. Okay. It's now 9:53. I just wanted to point out that May 11th is the next public meeting, I forget what it's called, community outreach about the master plan. So it'll be May 11th at 6:30 at the Northborough Public Library. And Lori, what are they gonna have? They're gonna have 4 versions?
Yeah, so there's going to be 4 different redevelopment scenarios that they're looking to receive feedback from the public on. So it should be an interesting meeting, super helpful if you folks could spread the word. We'd like as many people there as possible so that we could really get some good feedback from a variety of opinions.
What time was that, Lori?
6:30 p.m. It's going to be in the
Okay.
large conference
Yeah.
room at the public library.
Yep.
And it's going to be recorded, but it's not going to go out live.
Okay.
And the master plan implementation committee, we're meeting May 1st.
Correct.
Before the meeting to discuss. All right, so we're gonna discuss it in advance.
Nobody cheat by going to that meeting and seeing what redevelopment scenarios are.
You have to have advance notice.
Well, that way people could actually even look at it too and then come with their comments.
Right. Do
Yeah, that's true.
like the
Last time I didn't make any comments because the tables were so crowded, which was a good problem to have. We had so many people there.
Yes, yeah, I was actually astonished that so many people showed up.
It was a great turnout. It really was.
We
I know we
stickers.
were pretty active in trying to get people to show up. And that's what you want, because then, it's like not voting and then complaining about who's in office. You don't vote, shut up, wait till the next election, so when a lot of people show up, at least you get the honest feedback and the direction the people want to head. That was a big deal, because I know some folks were saying, oh, hopefully we'll get 8 or 10, and we ended up with like 60 or 70, which was awesome.
I'm all
And I
for-
want to make a motion that Federico's name gets added to spell check so he doesn't have to live the rest of his life as a typo on these minutes.
Oh, well,
I'm not offended.
You're always underlined in red. It's like, all right, he's a typo. What good is he?
For the record, it's Frederico, like Fred Flintstone.
Right, Federico.
Everybody leaves off the R. I'm
Oh,
used to it.
Federico, yeah.
No, I'm fine with it.
It looks like it's okay here.
All right. No, I saw red lines under it. It kept, my whole life I lived that with my first name, because it's like, that's like, all right, now Federico has the problem with the last name. All right, I'm sorry, but now we're gonna go past our limit because I talked nonsense.
No, it's great. I think we should spread the word for May 11th too. So everybody who came last time and gave their input can now come again and see what was made of it.
Maybe we can get some more people who want to join our committees.
I think we're going to need a new person on design review because Lisa's up for election for selectman. So she'll probably have to be leaving our committee.
Yeah. I'm sure there are probably some people that have really broken up about that though.
No. So, but we'll have to spread the word. And actually we do have an open spot too. From one person left. So now we'll have 2 open slots. If anyone knows anyone who wants to be on design review committee.
Okay.
With talent and panache, right, Dario?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Something we don't have yet.
That's right.
All right.
Leaves me out.
It was a good meeting, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Do we have to make a motion or something to adjourn?
We do. We have to make a motion to adjourn.
All right, I'll make that motion.
Can I second it or Lisa can second it? All right, roll call vote. Dario Demar,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Miss Ellen, and I'm an aye. All right, everybody, have a great